Hello, welcome back to Unlimited Automation. In this video, we will be covering the part 3 of the series Selenium Interview Questions. The first question is, what are the different types of locators in Selenium? So usually, Selenium provides 8 types of locators to identify elements on a web page, and they are ID, name, class name, tag name, link text, partial link text, XPath, and CSS selector. Now, you can answer additionally by saying that ID and name are faster and more reliable than XPath. And if they ask you to write any code snippet, you can mention it like driver.find element and you specify it either by .id, you specify the username and then .send keys, or you can also use driver.find element by .css selector, specify the css selector and then .click or some send keys also you can send. The next question is, what is page object model POM in Selenium? Now interviewers generally say what is POM to confuse the candidates. So you need to understand POM is nothing but page object model, and it's a very important question asked in the Selenium interviews. So you can answer in like this way: the page object model is a design pattern used to create an object repository for web elements. It helps improve code reusability and maintainability. In order to specify, you can say like we specify a WebDriver within a class, say login page. So login page is a public class, and in that you have specified a WebDriver driver, and then basically you have specified the username, password, and login using @find by notation. So here you can see @find by. You've specified the ID for web element username. You are also using @find by for ID password for web element password, and also you are specifying @find by for ID login button for web element login button. And after that you can specify the function, like here it says public void login. You pass the parameter string user string password and then specify username dot send keys, password dot send keys, and then the login button dot click. So this is a very important question, and in brief you can answer it like this way. So question number 3, a very important question, is how do you take a screenshot in Selenium? So you can mention like this way: to take a screenshot in Selenium, we need to use the take screenshot interface to capture the image, and basically you can also mention that there is something called Apache Commons IO library, which is file utils class, to save the file. Okay, so basically you need to take the screenshot, you need to use the take screenshot interface, and you can specify the code like file src equals to take screenshot interface. You cast it into .get screenshot as, and you specify the output type .file, and then the file utils you use to save the file. So file utils .copy file, and you save the file using the specified location. Another important question: what are the advantages of using TestNG with Selenium? Now, TestNG is a very important and useful framework used in Selenium, especially Selenium with Java. So you can answer in this way. The advantages of TestNG with Selenium are as follows. Number 1, it supports annotations, like various annotations before test, after test, like test, suit, before suit, after suit, like that, which basically helps to group and segregate different test cases. Next is TestNG provides parallel execution, which is another built-in support for running test cases simultaneously across multiple threads, classes, or suits. So this significantly reduces the overall execution time for large test suits actually. Then another one is it generates detailed HTML reports. So in order to generate reports and understand how many test cases are failing or passing, TestNG provides a very good classy HTML reports in order to understand how many cases are passing or failing. Then there is another concept like it supports parameterization. Okay, so parameterization is another thing which is an useful feature of TestNG, and also you can mention like it allows grouping and prioritizing tests. Like TestNG allows grouping and prioritizing tests. Okay, there are more other features which TestNG have, but these are enough in order to answer verbally. You can also mention any code snippet if they ask to write, or like if they ask to um, write it in any place. So you can mention like at the rate test, you can give a priority one and say my function is login test. So this login test with priority one will be executed before other functions. Okay. Now there are different other priorities also which we can discuss later, but this is the way we can answer the advantages of using TestNG. Next question is how do you handle frames or iframes in Selenium? Okay. So basically to interact with elements inside a frame which is written within iframe tag. So within the frames in Selenium, you must explicitly switch the WebDriver's focus from the main page to the specific frame using this driver.switch2.frame method. Okay, so now we can switch between frames using three methods. First one is driver.switch2.frame. You specify the index. Then driver.switch2.frame name or id. You specify the name or id of the element or of the frame. And you can also use driver.switch2.frame and you specify the web element. So web element you specify say the frame element. So below examples you can see driver.switch2frame and by id, and then switch to default content. So default content is something like the default content which we switch from the frame back to the original content. Okay, so in this way basically we can handle the iframes or frames in Selenium. Subscribe to Unlimited Automation for more such interview questions, automation related topics, and also funny corporate memes and other shorts. Thank you.